What's going on, everybody? It's Morgan again. So today I wanted to talk to you about credit. What is credit? Why do you need credit? And how do you improve your credit? So without further ado, let's get into it. So according to Experian.com, credit is borrowed money that you can use to purchase goods and services. Now, credit is important, especially if you can't afford to just buy everything cash. If you're going to need to take a loan out, they're going to look at your credit score to see how eligible you are to borrow money for a house, a car, a loan. And based on your credit score, you'll either get approved, denied, or your interest rate will go through the roof if you have a low credit score. But if you have a nice high credit score, you'll get the best interest rates they can offer. You'll also want to make sure that you have a high credit score if you're going to rent an apartment, rent a house. Your landlord or the apartment complex will take a look at your credit score. If you have a low credit score, that's basically a red flag that you are a high risk person who may not pay rent on time or may not pay your bills on time. So what are the factors that determine your credit score? Well, there are 6 of them. There's 6. And 2 of them are low impact, 1 of them is medium impact, and 3 are high impact. So let's go through them. So the first factor determining your credit score is what's called hard inquiries. Basically what that means is when a large credit bureau or company checks your credit score when you go in to purchase a car, purchase a house. That's a hard inquiry. Now when you check your credit score on like Credit Karma, that is not considered a hard inquiry and won't affect your credit. So if you have more than 2 hard inquiries within the past 2 years, that raises a little bit of a red flag, indicating that you're a little bit high risk because you were getting a lot of loans out in a small period of time. So you want to keep those as low as possible. Now, hard inquiries are on the low impact scale. So even if you do end up with a few on your credit score or your credit report, they do have a low impact. So they won't affect your credit as much as some of the higher impact factors. All right, so the second factor determining your credit score is the total number of accounts open and closed that you have. Now this is another low impact factor. So even if you're not doing the greatest, it's not going to affect your credit score as much as some of the higher impact items. So basically, all of your accounts, if you have some opened and closed accounts, they just want to see the total number to see that you've been using your credit over time responsibly over a variety of accounts. So if you have had more than 10 accounts opened or closed, then you're doing pretty well. Alright, so the third factor determining your credit score is the average age of your credit history. So this is a medium impact item, so it has a little bit more impact than the low, but not quite as much as the high impact, which we'll go over in just a minute. So basically they want to see the average age of your credit card accounts and your loan accounts. The key here is if you have an old credit card you really don't use anymore and you're wondering whether you should just close it, don't do it. If that's one of your oldest accounts and you just cut it out, that will bring your average account age way down, which could impact your credit score. So keep that old account open, use your credit card just once every 6 months or so just to keep the account active. Alright, so we have made it to the last 3 items on the list and they are all high impact, so make sure you pay close attention. So number 4 on the list is derogatory marks, which is basically any late payments that you've had that are so late that they end up getting sent to a collections agency, or if you have a bankruptcy on your record. Now both of these things can actually stay on your credit history for 7 to 10 years. So please make sure you're making your payments on time and only use bankruptcy as a last resort. Alright, so number 5 on the list is your credit card utilization. Now I touched on this briefly in one of my previous videos, but I will go a little bit more in depth here. So your credit card utilization is basically the percentage of your total credit card limit that you have used. So if you have a credit card limit of $10,000 and you have a balance of more than $3,000 or 30%, that really starts to impact your credit score. So you want to keep your balances below 30% if possible. So it does become really important to only use your credit card in emergencies, or just make sure that you pay off any balances as soon as possible and don't let them build up. Now, something that I recently learned, and I used to think it would be a bad thing or a bad financial move, is to increase your credit limit. So I had a card with a limit of $5,000 on it, and they offered to let me increase it. And at first I was like, no, that's probably not a good idea. If I increase my limit, I'll just spend more. But that's really not the case. You just have to be disciplined and increase your limit, which actually increases your overall credit card limit, which lowers your utilization percentage and will in turn help to increase your credit score. So we have made it to number 6 on the list, last one on the list, and that is your payment history. We touched on that a little bit in derogatory marks, but they have a whole separate section just on your payment history, and it is a high impact item. So please make sure you're paying your bills on time. They want to see that you made at least 99% of your payments on time. If it starts to drop below that, then it will impact your credit score pretty heavily. So what I do is just set up all my bills for automatic withdrawal, and that way it's set. I don't have to remember each month, and it's all taken care of. Alright everyone, thank you so much for watching. It really does mean a lot to me. I know I'm still relatively new at this whole YouTube thing, but I'm really having a lot of fun doing it. So if you're enjoying these videos, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any new uploads. I really look forward to interacting with you all as I continue on this journey. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.